Hello Aquarius, welcome to your week ahead taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. So my sun sign brothers and sisters, let's have a look, see what the week ahead has in store for you. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help us on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So this week, in line with the your key to the week message this week, we've got the Temperance card. And Temperance always brings you, well, firstly, it asks you to bring balance. It asks you to blend differing or opposing energies in order to create some form of new experience or new type of energy. You know, it's the card of alchemy after all. So whenever you see this card, especially as a key to the week or the overarching energy of the week ahead for you, what it kind of says to me is, this week we're going to be asked to find the balance. This week we're going to be asked to find the right ingredients, and more importantly, what that actually looks like to us on a personal level. The thing about Aquarian energy is it's very expansive, it's very sort of out there, it's very much in the future, it's very much about what's good for everybody. This week though, the feeling that I get from this Temperance card is what is going to be good for you? What is it that you need to do this week to bring things back to yourself? Where do you need to find more balance? Where can you find more alignment with what it is that you want? Do you even know what that looks like or feels like to you? This week you're going to be prompted to really look at that. And there's something that I want to do for this card as well. It's a spread that I made up called the Temperance Run. So I'm going to do that after, just because you are my sun sign brothers and sisters and I'm intrigued as to what this is saying. So for the actions and the path ahead, this week we have the High Priestess, right? So hidden things come to light, things are revealed to us. Now, interestingly enough, I feel like this is going to be some sort of spiritual truth. This could be a week where maybe you're withdrawing from the public eye. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm not very well at the moment and I seem to be feeling it. Your High Priestess in conjunction with this Temperance card, the feeling that I get from this is this week there's going to be some sort of spiritual truth, some sort of deeper understanding or wisdom that comes to light, and it may very well be a mystery. It might be a piece of your own personal puzzle that you've been waiting for or needing to kind of go ahead. Now your actions and path is about what you do or how you show up in the world, and your High Priestess is about hidden things revealed. This may be a week where you're willing to open up to somebody in the world or to the world at large. Maybe there's something about yourself or your past that you're opening up to share with the world. It's interesting that this is coming up, especially because this is one of the things that I've done. If you get my daily email, then you know this. This is one of the things that's been coming up for me a lot, so it's interesting to see these two cards here. But your High Priestess basically says this week be on the lookout, because there is something that is going to be revealed to you, and it fits into all of your plans. It fits into the larger goals or the how you perceive yourself moving forward in some way, shape or form. Let's see what it comes with. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Hermit card or the Holly King in this deck. You know, withdrawing from the world, stilling yourself. What do I always say? If you want to hear the High Priestess, your intuition speak, you have to go through the process of being the hermit, withdrawing from the world, choosing to be alone, taking yourself out of the public eye, removing yourself from the hustle and bustle of every single day life. And what that kind of does for you, it allows you to still yourself, to make yourself quiet so that your inner wisdom can start to come through and pour through. This is a week for you to connect with and commune with your elderly. This is a week for you to really go and pay attention to your grandparents, to your own parents. If you've got friends that are, you know, older than you, that are wiser than you, I make a point of having friends that are older and wiser than me. You know, I would love to say that I'm, you know, not to be self-deprecating. I know I'm wise for my years and, you know, for the amount of experience that's packed into this little body. Well, not so little body, but I make a point of knowing and connecting with people that are older than me, that are wiser than me, that have more of an understanding of the currents of life than me. That's what keeps me growing and striving to connect with, you know, with more and with things that are older, deeper and wiser. So this week you could find yourself talking to your parents, your grandparents, people that are older than and wiser than you. You know, this is going to be a week where the quality of your communication is much more important than the quantity. You know, it's kind of, this is, you know, like the trees in Lord of the Rings, where he says we don't really say anything unless it's actually worth saying, and anything worth saying takes a long time to say. Really, that's the feeling that I get from it this week. Money and materials. Of the Nine of Swords. This is, yes, not a great card when it comes to finances and money. This week, though, the thing about the Nine of Swords, remember, whenever you see this, very often it doesn't necessarily mean that, it may mean that the situation is challenging, but very often what it sees is the amount that we hype things up. You know, sometimes in your mind, we have, you know, your mind is like, it's a filter, but it's also an amplifier, you know, and sometimes it amplifies and magnifies something because you look at it so deeply and so closely, and it's like, oh my gosh. You don't have to go into the depths of despair. This falls right underneath this High Priestess, which suggests that this week there may be some sort of hidden expense, maybe some sort of bill that comes out of the woodwork that you haven't been expecting. Maybe you have to pay for something suddenly or out of the blue, or maybe it's something that you didn't even realize that you had to pay and it kind of just shows up. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill this week. Like, even if you think to yourself, oh shit, you know, that was the money that I wanted to save, or that was money that I wanted to, you know, put away. If you go into that sort of head spin of, oh, isn't it awful? You're going to stay in that space for longer than you would like to. So this week, I invite you, for whatever it is, this hidden expense that shows up, I invite you to sidestep the thought process and the energy that comes with the extra expense and just go straight to the fact of, well, you know what? Isn't it wonderful that I had it to pay? All right, it's a small shift, but it's a big one. You know, it will have far-reaching ripples. For love and relations, we have the Seven of Cups. Relationships could be under fire a little bit this week, my dear Aquarians. I do have to say, you've got the Seven of Cups right next to the Nine of Swords. This card can sometimes bring us, or sometimes foretell, experiences where, you know, I'm just going to call it like I see it. For some people that are partnered this week, the grass may appear greener somewhere else because things might not be as settled at home as you'd like. Maybe something comes up this week and, you know, whatever the extra expenses or whatever, it could cause a little bit of a rift between partners. Now, my advice here is, no matter how challenging those things get, this is not a week to go gossiping to, not even to family or friends or, you know, close people. This is not a week to do that, because the chances are you'll kind of go overboard. And again, there's this feeling that if you go into the darker or sort of heavier energies or places this week in your mind, or even in your feelings, it will attach and you'll find it much tougher to get out of. This is actually going to be a great week in terms of its overall energy. If you haven't seen the weekly general, please check it out. So it's just about tapping into that and sidestepping this. And now that you know that some of these challenges might arise, this is, you know, it's a good use of it to kind of sidestep whatever these things that come up. You can't ignore them, but you can definitely manage them and your responses to them better. For those of you that are single, if you are meeting somebody, this person is likely to be older than you, because this falls right underneath the Hermit card. What I will say to you is, this person may not necessarily be as available as they appear. Do I think that they're genuine? Absolutely. Do I think that they come with a lot of baggage? Absolutely. So the choice is obviously yours of how you traverse through that. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.